Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. This is happening across our nation. A new study shows the media's coverage of President Trump now 93% negative. CNN to pay $76 million in back wages to former employees. 6 Democrat presidential candidates prepare for tonight's debate. Iran fires live ammunition and tear gas at pro-democracy protesters. New Yorkers fume at their city's new bail guidelines for dangerous criminals. Let them out. Also ahead, can the Democratic Party overcome the far-left element? But first, a recent study says the media's coverage of President Trump now 93% negative, up 10 points since the Democrats began impeachment. 75% of reporting was focused on removing Mr. Trump from office. The big three networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, dedicated almost no time to the strong economy. CNN agreeing to pay out more than $76 million to 300 former employees. The network announcing an agreement with local unions in Atlanta, ending a dispute dating back more than 15 years. CNN settled another lawsuit with Covington Catholic student Nick Sandmann earlier this month for an undisclosed amount of money after misreporting Mr. Sandmann in Washington. 6 Democrats are preparing to take the debate stage in Iowa this evening. The CNN-hosted event will feature Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and billionaire Tom Steyer. Sanders currently leading in Iowa, at least in one poll, Biden in another. Tight race, the caucus vote February 3rd. Iranian forces firing live ammunition into a crowd of pro-democracy protesters, sending thousands running for their lives in the streets of Tehran. The demonstrations began after the government tried to conceal its role in destroying a Ukrainian passenger jet airliner. Angry students shut down universities across the country, chanting "Death to the dictator." That would be the Ayatollah. New York's recently changed bail laws under fire from angry residents after a suspect was arrested and released 5 times for robbing banks in Manhattan. The suspect himself said, quote, "I can't believe they let me out. What are they thinking?" In a moment, the far left dominating the Democratic Party. Is that good news for President Trump? Right back. Deborah's home was stolen. I don't mean thieves stole stuff. I mean scammers literally stole her home. The FBI calls home title theft one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes. This story is why you need Home Title Lock. Deborah says, quote, "Criminals found the title to our home online and filed fraudulent documents claiming they owned it." And it gets worse. Deborah, quote, "I was evicted from my own home and $85,000 in equity gone. Nobody believes you can get your home stolen this easy," unquote. This is why you need Home Title Lock, because no insurance or bank protects your home from title theft. First things first, please go to HomeTitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim and don't know it. Then sign up to protect the legal title to your home so you don't end up like Deborah. And to get you started, I got you 60 risk-free days of protection. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day, handicapping the presidential race this year. It is difficult to process just how far left some elements of the Democratic Party have moved since President Obama left office, and that will definitely influence the upcoming primary vote. You may remember that Mr. Obama once publicly opposed gay marriage, and his administration deported record numbers of foreign nationals who had illegally entered the United States. Compared to the leftist zealots today, Barack Obama could have filled in for Sean Hannity. To provide perspective about exactly where some Democrats are now, it is worth enumerating a few of the policies that ardent leftists support. Changing the free market economy to socialism, where the federal government controls profit, production, and investment. Allowing millions of foreign nationals into America while they await asylum hearings that could take years, while also using tax dollars to pay for the health care of all illegal aliens. Allowing felonies like robbery and drug dealing not to be prosecuted, and forbidding cash bail for many arrested individuals. Police in places like San Francisco and New York now issue citations or tickets for even violent acts like physical assault. Permitting abortion for any reason at any time. In some places, babies can be terminated after birth by an abortion doctor. Just a few years ago, supporting those kinds of radical policies would have eliminated a political candidate from serious consideration for office. Now, many in the Democratic Party embrace the radicalism. The recent confrontation with Iran illuminates the situation. There is no question that the Iranian General Soleimani was a terrorist responsible for attacks on Americans, including the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Yet among Democrats running for president, only Michael Bloomberg supported the drone strike on the Quds Force leader. Bernie Sanders actually condemned the USA for killing the terrorist, a startling and disturbing position. Nevertheless, Senator Sanders continues to compete effectively in the presidential race, despite the fact that he would completely disengage all U.S. forces from the Middle East and attempt to run the private economy from Washington, something that has never been done in the history of this country. Realistically, it would take a drastic shift in voter sentiment for Sanders or his fellow traveler, Senator Elizabeth Warren, to win the White House. That most likely will not happen, at least this year. But the dramatic shift to the left by the Democratic Party is now official, and no one knows if the radical forces will grow. Of course, President Trump is thrilled by this, because he can appeal to independent Americans, people not aligned with the Democratic or Republican parties, and say, do you really want to blow up the entire economic system of this country when unemployment is 3.5%? Do you really want to do that? That will be very difficult for a radical leftist to counter. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by actually writing it. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com, where you can see me each evening. In a moment, something you might not know. Millions of Americans have been diagnosed with cancer or a serious illness. If you are one of them, and money is a problem, you're not alone. It's simple. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage for free to see if you qualify for cash now when you need it the most. Be ready to take down this number. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more and you are living with a serious illness, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage free to see if you qualify for cash now. So write this number down, 1-888-GUIDE-50. Totally free to call. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Consider turning that life policy into cash. The number again, 1-888-GUIDE-50. 1-888-484-3350. 1-888-GUIDE-50. Call now. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 2019 was a decent year for Hollywood. Half of all Americans took in at least one movie, spending an average of $9 a ticket. Total box office sales estimated to top $12 billion. The 92nd Annual Academy Awards put out their slate of nominees this week, kicking off a frenzied season of lobbying to take home the Oscar. The problem is no one wants to host the television program. Too dangerous with all the tweeting. Now, if you're a fan of action thrillers, crazy clowns, mob stories, you probably caught one or two of the nominated films, and here they are. 9 movies for Best Picture: Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 1917, and Parasite. Keep your eye on 1917. 5 women competing for Best Actress. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story. Saoirse Ronan, Little Women. Charlize Theron, Bombshell. Renee Zellweger for Judy. She won the Golden Globe. 5 men battling it out for Best Actor nominees: Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory. Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver, Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix, Joker. Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. I like Pryce, but I think Joaquin will probably get it. As for the movies themselves, is an interesting history. The first Best Picture Oscar for a color film was awarded to Gone with the Wind back in 1940. Walt Disney holds the record for more than 26 awards, 64 nominations, followed by composer John Williams, that's the Star Wars guy, 51 nominations, 5 wins. And here's something you might not know. The first ever Academy Award was handed out during a private dinner in May 1929. Best Picture that year, Wings, a silent film about World War I starring Clara Bow and Buddy Rogers. Ironically, 1917 is about the horrors of the First World War. Could it be destiny? We'll be back after this. Hey, forget about spring. According to 2019 real estate stats, the busiest home shopping season actually starts in January for many of the country's biggest markets. So, if you think you have to wait until April to buy a home, that's not true. Whether you're looking for your first, next, or forever home, even an investment property, make today the day you begin the mortgage pre-approval process. It takes only 10 minutes to get started when you call my friends at American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, and you'll learn about custom loan programs that fit your budget, including down payment assistance programs that get you right into your home for little or no money down. Whatever your budget, whatever you need, they will help you. They really are in it for you. So please call American Financing, 888-462-9557, 888-462-9557, or AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.